You do the crime, you do the time, right? Nobody likes a criminal, and here in the United States, we spend $106,000 per year to house an inmate. Strip them of all their belongings and label them a slave to the state. While still keeping their First Amendment rights, such as freedom of speech, inmates give up the right to privacy, including random searches, on top of being behind prison walls 24/7. While well deserved for the crimes they committed, they should not have to deal with corrupt correctional officers. I agree with the idea behind the Department of Corrections' mission to facilitate the successful reintegration of the individuals in our care back to their communities. Sounds like problem solved, right? Not when the correctional officers whose job is to secure the premises have been manipulated and corrupted by inmates contributing and feeding to the problem. First, we will look at the many ways a correctional officer can become corrupt. Second, look at how corruption affects the inmates and can cause problems for their fellow officers. Lastly, we'll look at solutions and ideas for a better, safer stay for inmates. Let's look at how officers who took an oath to protect and serve become corrupt. Three of the reasons a officer can become a criminal themselves are because of corruption, very low pay, and manipulation. Corruption is a major issue in our prisons and jails today because it opens the door for gangs of organized crime to strive. Lawyers of walk free law state sometimes an inmate will use coercion and threaten a prison official or their families if he or she does not comply and smuggle contraband into the prison. It is very hard to resist temptation or bribes from wealthy inmates or criminal organizations, but it is their job. Close your eyes and imagine being on a level 4 prison yard where some of the most dangerous inmates are housed. How much would they need to pay you? June 22nd, 2015, Eric Funch article. Chris Menton told Business Insider it's been referred to as the bottom rung in the career ladder in criminal justice. This is considered dirty work. Your life in danger every day you go to work, yet not worth better pay. Makes it easy to accept bribes for bringing in contraband or other favors for a price. Dealing with convicts on a day to day basis while working, your every move being watched for a flaw that can be taken advantage of. Unfortunately, some officers fall into manipulation. January 30th, 2023, Matthew Ormseth of the Los Angeles Times. In 2022, 6,776 phones were seized in California prisons, down from 10,494 in 2019. They are smuggled in by correctional officers and free staff, the armies of cooks, counselors, electricians, nurses, and other employees who service the prison. I want to now shine light on how deep the corruption runs, the dangers and problems it creates for convicts and the COs. This major issue going on in the Department of Corrections cannot be blamed on one person. June 25th, 2015, Dr. Michael Patero of AMU. I can attest to the fact that corruption is not limited to correctional officers. Corruption can exist among all prison employees, including administrators, officers, teachers, counselors, law librarians, maintenance workers, and other staff members. With so many people contributing to the problem, it's no wonder why prisons are flooded with drugs, contraband, and illegal weapons. Locked behind bars, surrounded by correctional officers, cameras, barbed wire fences. There must be another way contraband makes its way into the facility, which creates serious problems for inmates. Year 2016, Columbia Law School. Corruption in the prisons causes problems that go far beyond mere dishonesty on the part of employees. First, correctional officers as well as other inmates are frequently injured by smuggled weapons. A correctional officer who has been bribed by an inmate and now can only see an opportunity that benefits themselves doesn't take into consideration the dangers he puts himself in, but also his fellow officers who he swore to protect. June 27, 2015. Ashley Fans with CNN. Cell phones are can be used to kill. A prisoner ordered a hit on a guard known for cracking down on prisoners' possession of phones in South Carolina. After looking at the reasons for corrosion within the walls of the Department of Corrections, those at risk, both inmates and officers, we will now look at solutions for these major problems. One of the keys to bringing a stop to the issue of corrupt correctional officers is hiring staff that is really committed to upholding the law. In 1984, P.J. McCarthy, U.S. Department of Justice, factors that undermine the formal control structure of prisons are friendships with inmates, reciprocal relationships, and staff reliance on inmates to perform certain staff duties. Officers willing to do such acts need to be replaced. The ugly feeling of being unappreciated can affect anybody's performance at work, including the stressful job of a CEO. May 12, 2022, Robert Leffler of Washington Examiner. This on top of having assess dangers, recognize threats, maintain the orderly operations of so many institutions, keep all inmates safe, and prevent inmates from escaping. At first glance, it seems like a job of a superhero. Yet, wages reflect otherwise. Another important factor in solving these problems is staff shortages. September 14, 2022, American Addiction Center writes, guards are exhausted, traumatized, and often ignored, shunned if express any weariness or misgivings about the work required to do. Making it easy to take their frustrations out on the inmates, more staff and less stress may help this problematic situation. My goal with all this is to bring awareness to the problem that not many put interest in. We touch base first on the corrupt officers of the Department of Corrections. Second, the effects and dangers corruption causes for staff and inmates. Third, ideas on solutions that might help this serious problem. Even a person who's committed crime and has to spend time under the watch of these officers deserves to be safe on their stay. We need to find a system to weed out the bad apples with the Department of Corrections, helping keep safe everyone behind the walls. In the end, I do not believe all correctional officers are corrupt, nor do I believe these criminals are innocent. Many of them know and find weaknesses within the department. Convicts who are masters of manipulation may be a big reason why problem is such a big issue across the nation. A solution must be found.